Hi, my name is Tyler Clark, student number 1201293, and in this video I'm going to show the final artifact created for the module Advanced Games Implementation. So, to begin with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a demonstration of the video game and outline key features as going through. At the very beginning, a lot of information is displayed to the player, the key one being the UI widget that appears and then disappears. It indicates to the player that they need to find a weapon inside the environment and to go and pick it up, as they will need it to progress through the level. In the top right hand corner there is a mini-map that is also created during the start of play, and there are two things inside of it that need to be pointed out. First one is the green dot. The green dot is the player's location and it updates as the player moves. There is also a red triangle that points out where the enemy is located and also what direction the enemy is currently facing. So if I go over to pick up the weapon now, the player is prompted to press up on the D-pad to equip the gun. As you can see, when you press up on the D-pad you change animation state. The animations is now holding the gun, and if I press B I unequip the gun, but it tells me to press up on the D-pad to re-equip it. And if you hold the left trigger, you see you go into the eye in sight mode, where you slowly, more accurately move around the map in comparison to the jaggedy run created whilst holding it at the hip. Also, if you press the right trigger, as you can see, you shoot the enemy and the enemy starts to lose health. And also in the bottom left hand corner where the ammo is located, when you shoot, the number of bullets per clip goes down. If I shoot all 30 bullets, the overall maximum ammo that you have gets depleted by 30, so that it keeps track of how many bullets that you actually have within the gun. As you can see, these cameras were pulled in from the Blueprints Unreal 4 created map. When the player gets within a certain distance of the enemy will start to attack, and as you can see by the health bar indicated on the right side, the enemy takes health from the player. And if you walk into the cone, also designed by Unreal, it will change colours to indicate to the player that they have been spotted by the camera. Now, when approaching this door, the user is prompted to press A to enter inside. However, if they move away, the A button prompt is disappearing. When you press A, you open up a new level blueprint where a new objective is to find the girl that's hidden inside this map and to save her, basically by getting her back to this point in the game. So just to show off some of the level environment that the player will be needing to navigate around. It was an environment to make it seem interesting towards the player, and also to make it feel like an environment where somebody could be held, like in a kidnap situation, which a lot of games do like to suggest. If I go upstairs, I'm also prompted, is that a shotgun propped against the wall, indicating that there is another weapon in this room. And if you pick that up and press down on the D-pad, you change weapons, changing the different style of shooting, and makes it a lot easier to kill enemies. With the addition of the second shotgun, you can now see that an inventory system has been added where if you pull out the rifle, it lays the shotgun away into the mini inventory system, and if you pull out the shotgun, it lays the rifle away in the mini inventory system. If I hold down the RB button, the player is also able to sprint around the room, making them move faster during the environment for slower areas such as rooms with no enemies or open terrain areas that need to be navigated. Coming into the final room where the girl is located, the player is prompted to press LB to get the attention of the girl that you're trying to find. And as soon as you press it, she hears the noise and reacts by following you. Since there are no enemies left in this house now, I will quickly sprint back to the beginning to show how the game ends. The game ends by the world recognizing that this AI character has hit a box and told the level to be opened back to the main menu. When I was planning this game, I had to consider the prototype that I had made in the prior module Advanced Games Engine architecture and how that would further in Advanced Games implementation. And I came up with a C++, what I wanted to do and how I wanted to further that, and also how I wanted my blueprint scripting to further the game as well. The only area that has not been able to be fully covered are the controls buttons during the opening menu scene. During the planning stage, I had to consider how the C++ would communicate with each other. How would the ray trace inside the weapon recognise if it was a friendly character or an enemy character? And if it was an enemy character, how would it hurt it? Would it be a damage? Would it be a integer value that would just subtract away? And also I needed to consider the health bar and how I would get the damage to indicate to the health bar in the game world. The UML diagram does allow for this to be seen and build connections via inheritance from different classes. Here is a piece of code regarding the start sprint. When you hold the RB button down, it calls the get character movement and increases the max walk speed to a total of 1000, able to move around a lot quicker. And when you release the button, the next void function is called end sprint, and the character reduces back to its original walking speed pace. This segment of code, as you can see, I have an integer for max ammo, which is set to 240, which was the maximum amount of bullets that the player held at the time, and also a magazine that held 30 bullets. If I go to weapons.cpp, you can see here is where I'm calling the sets and gets of the ammo so that it recognises that ammo is linked to bullets, and when a bullet is shot, it gets taken away from the max amount of ammo to reduce it so that the player can only shoot it so many times. During this scene as well, when I created this to begin with, the gun could only shoot static mesh objects. So what I had to do is I had to go back, change this code so that the individual game character will get hit rather than a static mesh. However, there was more than one game character being called in the world. There is the friendly AI and there is the enemy AI. And when I originally coded this, it happened to affect both of them. Since the friendly AI would be killed, there would be no way to win the game. So what I had to do was place an actor has tag enemy so that it only recognises any actors that has this tag shall have the damage applied to them. Quick summation of the blueprints that I've created. First of all, we will look at the open level world blueprint. First of all, the special write button, in other words, when the start button is called, I want it to set pause, and when it is paused, I want a UI widget to appear on the screen that's saying the game has been paused, and when I press the start button again, I want the pause button to be removed. This, as shown in the game environment, is when this friendly AI begins to overlap with the certain section in front of the door, which is a trigger box that was placed, then I wanted the level to open up so that it indicates that they've won the game, which meant going back to the main menu. When you press down on the D-pad or on the left thumbstick, it goes through the main menu enumerator, which checks what location are you at. If I'm at start game and I press down, I'll go to controls, and if I was on controls, I'll go down to options, and it will circle round back up to start game. And the same would happen in the reverse direction if you pressed up on the left thumbstick or the D-pad. The final part of this video is covering how I got things to screen. So what I did was I appended ammo from the individual character to get what is the current weapon and what is the current ammo in that weapon, and then show it to the screen under max ammunition. So to begin with, it was 240, but when you press the trigger button, it would reload and go down to 210. And the same for when the ammo was shot in the magazine clip. So if it was at 30 and every time it gets shot, it would increment down the system to check how many bullets were in the code, and then it would display that to the screen.